This was very interesting to me. You said, I don't need a man. What's wrong with needing a man?
I think it was the way I was raised. I was raised to be strong and independent and self-sufficient. And I was told that that's the kind of woman that men want.
Anything that keeps you self-sufficient and self-reliant is going to move you away from your desire to be partnered. So if you're saying I'm self-sufficient and I'm self-reliant and I don't need a man, that is incongruent with I want a partner.
Indeed. And so many women have been fooled by womanism into believing that they are strong, independent, and don't need men. And yet, they wear clothes that were designed by, well, they were designed by women, I guess, but built by the machines that men made. Driving a car made by men. Using a phone made by men. Speaking on a TV show made by men, on devices made by men, on the internet made by men, and pampered by men, and yet they disdain men. Hello, and welcome to the Helios blog. My name is Helios. Here for another reaction video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, hitting all for notifications. If you'd like me to comment on a video, compilation, or maybe a Reddit post, send the link to the Helios blog at gmail.com. Let's get on with it.
Now take your finger, this thing right here, and say F7, delete.
Delete.
You know what I mean? We need more men to...
I mean, that's really good, actually, that there are women, older women now, that are teaching women the right way. That's fantastic. I think we need to go back to that. We need to go back to shaming. We need to go back to guilt. We need to go back to the old way of doing things where mothers and grandmothers and society in general taught women exactly what they need to do in order to be successful with men and in order to maintain the society that makes them happy, comfortable, and good. Seriously. Okay, let's see.
to stand up and lead the way. Most women are trying to be the leader. That's why you can't find a man.
Literally. Perfectly well put. Men do not want to work a full-time job, work on their side business, work on their body, fight and struggle, and then come home to a girl that orders them around and is annoying. No man is interested in such a thing.
You can't be the king in the house. Fall back and be the queen and let your man lead the way.
Literally. Exactly. Women, okay, here's the thing. Historically, a king can take a peasant woman and make her into a queen. A queen cannot take a peasant man and turn him into a king. The woman has to allow the man to lead. And it's not even has to allow. She has to be psychologically taught that she is not the leader, that she needs a man and she needs direction and she needs someone to lead and to guide her through life. I believe that many women are self-destructive and need to be led in the proper direction, and they don't need to be taught necessarily by men what to do. They need to be taught by their mothers, their grandmothers, and all the women around what is actually correct. And it isn't being taught nowadays. Nowadays it's the womanism thing that ruins women and leads them to cat ladyhood.
Lead in my household. I could do this in my household. What does that mean?
That's not how it's supposed to be, and that's why we bump heads. You got to let the man be the head of the house. But it's a generational thing, and it's what we've been taught. To stand up, be strong, be the, you know what I mean? And a dude come and you, everything about you is like a man.
And this is also true. Men, if they really wanted another man in the house, would date a man or marry a man. We don't want a woman with masculine energy. We want a woman with feminine energy. So let me just restate the qualities that men are looking for in women. Fit, feminine, submissive, loyal, loyal in the bedroom fun sense, and cooperative. Like, if women aren't those, then it doesn't matter, right? A man is not going to be interested in a long-term relationship. Definitely not. And certainly not for a marriage, for sure.
This is for these feminists I see here on TikTok talking about, I can live without a man. I don't need a man in my life. Huh? Huh? You don't need a man in your life, huh? You can live without a man, huh? Wake up call, baby girl. The reason for your existence is thanks to a man. The reason why you walk upon this earth is thanks to a man. In case you have forgotten, let me remind you, you were created from a man's rib. You were created as a companion to a man. Don't you forget, there is no she without a he.
Literally. So, yes, basically women nowadays, as I said, have been incorrectly taught. They have been incorrectly taught what to believe and what to do in order to be successful. And until women are re-taught how they need to be, men will not be interested in them. And I mean, in many ways, it's not so bad, because it's a self-correcting problem, right? Women that act in the way that they're not supposed to, they don't get married, and when they don't get married, then they don't have children, and when they don't have children, they don't pass on their ideology to the next generation. And when they don't pass on their ideology to the next generation, then the next generation is like that sort of belief set, that sort of ideology disappears. Now, the problem is that this ideology is being taught in schools, it's in all the movies, it's in all the TV shows, it's in all of the social media platforms, it's everywhere. And so, even though natural selection is doing its job of getting rid of the cancerous ideology, it's spreading through culture. So it needs to culturally also be stamped out, because if it's not, then it will continue to be a cancer that destroys Western society.
There is no woman without a man. This is so hilarious. Don't hate me for this. I can do well and do all things with or without a man. But we need to start facing reality. Even in the lesbian world, the other figure has to put up the image of a man to make it work.
She said that women can do anything that a man can do. That isn't true. There are many, many things that men can do that women can't. And just refer to physical jobs or sports for proof of this. Women cannot do everything that men can do as well as men can do them. There's a reason why we have dimorphism, right? Where men and women look different and are different in their brains. There's a reason for that. It's because we're made for different things. So, no, both genders can't do everything that the other gender can do, obviously. Okay, next.
Let me just hit you lot with something, because I was speaking to a woman the other day. She jumped to one of my lives on Instagram. Big you up, whoever you was. She said to me, I don't need a man because I've got money, I've got this, I've got that. Something down to you lot. A man is more than a financial assistance.
Absolutely. A man is not just a paycheck. Although, and this is the sad part really, is that many women nowadays, what they're doing is they're going and ruining themselves, ruining their bodies, sleeping with multiple men, and then expecting a man, or, you know, having a child with another man, and getting rid of him, and then expecting a new man to come in and provide the financial assistance to save her from bad decisions. But it's true, a man is more than financial assistance. Men provide leadership, they provide direction, they provide emotional stability, and they provide a path, a direction to go in. A man is a rock. A man has to be strong in order to be successful in the world. And women can just literally jump on the ship and follow the captain, right? That's what a man provides, not just a wallet.
And he's more than just a physical assistance. You know what he actually is? No. He's a spiritual assistance. And I feel...
Spiritual assistance? Like, in the sense that he provides the direction for life and the sort of attitude on life and the way to think about life and the world and how to make decisions. I agree with that.
I feel like this is where the breakdown of communication is dropped. A man is a leader of his family by that he prays with his family, bro.
I told him that I don't need a man, I want one.
Okay, so here's the thing. Women have been incorrectly taught, as I said. They have been incorrectly taught to believe that they don't need men, they just want men. And that is not true. It's actually the other way around. Men don't actually need women, in the sense that if, God forbid, all the women on earth were to disappear, again, God forbid, men would be able to maintain everything in the world as it is and live on the rest of their lives with not much difference. But for women, it's not the same. Women need men for survival. They need men for the maintenance of society. So no, women need men. And of course, if they want to have children who are cared for and are properly raised, they also need men. So no, it's not true that they just want a man. They need a man. They've just been incorrectly taught that they don't need one.
He was offended by that. But let me
He indeed was offended, because all men would be offended by such a thing. To be told that you are valueless.
clarify. I don't need you, and I mean that sincerely. But I want you. I want you to be there in my life. I want to.
Right, exactly. She doesn't need you. She just needs you. She just wants you to be there in order to provide a paycheck, in order to take her to nice dinners, in order for her to post the places that you've gone on Snapchat and Instagram, in order to compare you to with her other friends' boyfriends like a purse. That's what you're there for. She wants you. She doesn't need you. Of course, this is highly disrespectful. I digress.
To have you as an addition, something that makes me happy, but you're not going to be the source of my happiness.
I mean, this is ridiculous, right? That you're not going to be the source of my happiness and stuff like that. Again, women are moving away more and more from what their role traditionally was, and that's the reason why so many men are walking away, right? Because we don't want to deal with this sort of thing. And men, if you see this kind of thing, I mean, walk away, right? Also, please, if you agree or disagree with what I'm saying, in the comments section. I mean, that's what the comment section is for. Let's continue.
But I want you. I want you to be there in my life. I want to have you as an addition, something that makes me happy, but you're not going to be the source of my happiness. I have that on my own. I create that on my own. I have my.
See, women say this, and yet young women and by extension 35 plus women are the most miserable women in all of human history, right? Ironically, even though they live in the greatest comfort. So it's total BS that this girl would say that she's happy without a man. Or maybe she is. I mean, I don't know her personally. But this happiness doesn't last. If the girl doesn't have a family, if she doesn't have children, the happiness will not last.
My own achievements. I have my own life, my own friends. I don't need you.
My own achievement, my own life, my own friends. What she's describing is actually a man's life, right? Again, because of womanism, women have been taught to believe that a woman's happiness is exactly the same as a man's happiness. That what causes a woman's happiness is exactly the same thing that causes a man's happiness. And of course, this is not the case, right? So her falsely believing this will actually be the ruin of her in the long term. And we need to prevent this, right? And that's why I believe that women should teach women the truth, right? Because that's how it used to be. Mothers and grandmothers and culture in general used to teach women how they were supposed to be.
I'm self-sufficient. I don't need anyone. But if
Right. I'm a strong, independent woman. I don't need no man. I understand what you're saying. The only problem is that this independence and strength lasts so long as the gravy train keeps running. Once you get past the age of 30 and the wall looms, well, then you'll be singing a different tune. You'll be crying where all the good men have gone.
I want you, and that's huge. And that's awesome because that's a decision. Wanting someone is so different than needing someone. Needing someone is toxic.
But that's right. What womanism teaches is that a woman needing a man is toxic, that it actively hurts her, and she should be independent from men. But in being independent from men, what she's doing is actually ruining her life in the long term. And that is the problem, because women and children and families are necessary for the maintenance of Western society. And if women believe things like this en masse, which they do, then the result is what the result is: the decline of Western society.
Chain, it is like a jail, and it is soul-sucking and terrible.
Right. A woman needing a man is soul-sucking, terrible, and is life-destroying, according to this woman. Even though when you're 35 plus and have only cats and debt to look forward to, what will you think then?
You needing someone in your life is because you lack something in yourself. You don't need anyone but yourself. And when you have yourself and love yourself, you're good.
She says with a sad expression in her eyes and a sad bend to her shoulders. Even she doesn't believe this. And this is what's sad. It's the girl has been incorrectly taught and so brainwashed by the modern womanist religion that she doesn't even know that this is the very thing that will ruin her in the future.
Please do not address me as a strong, independent black woman. It's not a compliment. I never hear a man that is raising children alone say, I'm mom and dad. He never becomes overly feminine because he's raising children. But we as women become overly masculine because we are raising children, because I'm mom and dad and I gotta do all these things, right? And now I put extra stuff on me and then I say, ain't nobody helping me. Well, nobody told you to do that. There is.
Literally, exactly. So here's the thing. Nobody told you as a woman to kick the man out of the house after having had a child with him. Nobody told you to do that. Nobody told you to choose a man who would leave you. Nobody told you to get into a bad situation. You need to choose better men before you have children, and then you need to stay with that man for the good of the children, because the children become destroyed by your bad decisions.
Help available, all because I was trying to overcompensate for what daddy wasn't doing. I didn't have to be mom and dad. Now they got Mr. Chris and Mr. Eric over here. And I took them to be a part of different organizations because when you think of something strong, you do not think of coming to the aid of it. So,
wait, what? Okay, so I think what she's saying is that she doesn't need a man, right? Because there are organizations that have men at the lead that you can take your kids to. No. That will not work. Those men are not your children's father. And even though they could be a temporary, maybe father figure, I guess, nothing is going to compare to the actual genetic father of your children caring for them and taking care of them. Okay, no, she is wrong. Totally.
So when we are looked at and walk around as strong, what we're putting out is, I do not need assistance. I don't need your help. So anytime a man says, oh, I love it, you're so strong. I said, no, I'm not strong. I'm resilient. I'm not independent. I'm interdependent.
Wow. She's just reframing language and using gobbledygook to hide. Look, you can see on her face how strained she is. And you can see by her demeanor and the way that she behaves how much of a toll it's taken on her to be a single mother. So, no, she's just wrong, right? She should have never left the father of the children. And if he was a dirtbag, well, I apologize and I feel terrible that you were with a dirtbag, but you should have not chosen a dirtbag and you wouldn't have been in this position. If you chose a good man and you left him, you created your own bad situation. And if you chose a dirtbag and he left you, then you should have not chosen a dirtbag. Either way, it's not a good situation.
Because nobody ever comes to the aid of the strong person. So when I'm around men, my wrists are broke.
Okay.
Let me make something perfectly clear to you. I do not need a man.
And this is amazing advice to give to women that you want to never, ever, ever get married and have children and have families, right? If women believe this sort of thing, what will happen is that the society will crumble because women will no longer get into relationships because men will not take them. And so you get a society where the marriage rate is 7%, the divorce rate is 80 to 90%, and relationships are unstable and society is unstable as a result. That's what happens.
I can finance myself, I can fuck myself, and I can feed myself.
Right. So, great. You can go off and be by yourself and don't make TikToks, like, to get attention. I think many people would agree, many men would agree that we're not interested then. If you don't need me, if you're totally strong and independent, great. Go off in the direction that you want to go in and don't bother us.
So when I want a man, it's not to provide those three things.
I think that women should be on top always. No matter what culture, women should be on top.
Indeed, that is exactly what womanism teaches. That is exactly what womanism teaches. Women should always be on top no matter what. Business, on top. Education, on top. Money, on top. Laws, on top. Exactly. That is exactly what the goal of womanism has been from the beginning. It hasn't been equality. It has been power, and you can see it now. It has empowered women to control society through the matriarchy, through the dominance of women in all aspects. Yes, indeed. That's exactly right.
Period.
So what would be your thought of the women who basically put their men on top? Do you think that they're just ignorant slaves to their men?
Great question. So, those women are not ignorant slaves. Those women are doing what they should be doing, which is allowing a man, relaxing into their role as women and letting men be in their role. It's not about an equal relationship. It's about man being the head of the house and women falling in line. That is how it used to be. And with that, you can create a stable family unit that can then move on and maintain society. So, I mean, women believing they should be on top no matter what, no matter the society, is utterly ridiculous.
I feel like they just need to be woken up a little. Realize that.
Right. Women need to be woken up and realize their power. Rah. Women can do everything except all of the difficult jobs, working all the time to maintain society, etc. No, women should have all the power and none of the responsibility, right? Okay, let's finish the video here.
Their worth.
Women are held to a different standard. It's a double standard always when it comes to women.
Okay.
Indeed, women are held to a double standard. So women are basically, it's equality when it suits them, and it's superiority when it suits them. It's not equality. All right, I think we're going to end the video here. So thanks a lot for listening. Remember to sub on your way out. And of course, if you have any comments, please, if you agree or disagree with whatever I'm saying, that's what the comment section is for. All right. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching my channel. Please remember to do all of the following. Like the video for the algorithm. Comment on the video. I respond to all comments and I'll give you a heart. Subscribe and hit the bell so you can see my content on your feed. Check out all of my content on other platforms. It spreads the reach of the channel. YouTube, bit.ly/Helios YouTube. Rumble, bit.ly/Helios Rumble. My blog is realheliosblog.com. My podcast, bit.ly/Helios Podcast. My Patreon, patreon.com/The Helios Blog. You can also support the show at bit.ly/Helios Donations and buy my books at bit.ly/Helios Books. Thank you so much for all of your support.